Welcome everybody to today's video. Today we'll be looking at the Cambridge IGCSE Mathematics. This is the October-November 2022 paper and it's variant 2-1. Let's have a look at question 1. Right. Write down a common multiple of 18 and 24. So what we will do here is we'll write down multiples of 18. Multiples of 18 will be 18, of course, times 1, which is just 18. Then we have 36. Then we have 54. 18 times 3 and 18 times 4 is 72. Let's write down multiples of 24. So we have 24, multiples of 24 will be 24, 48, and 72. Now, as you can see, our common multiple of 18 and 24 is 72. Final answer, 72. A train journey starts at 23:40 and finishes at 6:50. Work out the time taken for this journey. Very nice and easy. 23:40, that's 22:12. So if I add 20 minutes, I get the time 12 in the morning. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to add 6 hours and 50 minutes to 12. So I've got 6 hours and 50 minutes. But don't forget that you still have that 40 minutes that you need to add to the train journey. 0040. Now let's add this, starting from the back, of course. 40 and 50 will give you 90. 90 minutes is the same as 1 hour, 30 minutes. So I'm going to put 30 minutes there, and then I'm going to add the hour to the 6 hours there. So you get 7 hours and 30 minutes of journey time. Question number 3. Write 32 centimeters as a fraction of 2 meters. 32 centimeters as a fraction of 2 meters, right? We have centimeters and meters as our units given there. So really, we can't compare these two because they are not apples and apples, if you like. So we have to change the either you can change the centimeters to be meters by dividing by 100. It's much easier changing meters to centimeters. Now we know that 100 centimeters is equals to 1 meter. So 200 centimeters is equals to 2 meters. And then they said, give your answer in its simplest form. Let's reduce this. Of course, you can use your calculator. So it's a good idea to practice mental maths in your mind. If I divide by 2 first, I get 16 over 100. We can also divide by 2 again, which gives us 8 over 50. We can divide by 2 again, which gives us 4 over 25. So final answer, 4 over 25 in its simplest form. Question 4. Divide $200 in the ratio 7:10. So first thing we are going to do, add those ratios. So we say 7 plus 3 is equals to 10. Perfect. Now we are going to find the unit price by dividing this total, which is 200, by 10, and that gives us 20. Now we go back to our ratio. Therefore, 7 is to 3 is equivalent to 7 times 20 is 230. 3 times 20. So 7 times 2 is 14, so that's going to be 140, and 3 times 20, 3 times 2 is 6, so that's going to be 60. Always a good idea to check your values before you write your final answer. If I add 140 plus 60, I get back my original $200. So final answer, 140 is 260, and that has been divided in the ratio 7 is to 3. Question 5. The diagram shows two straight lines intersecting two parallel lines. Find the value of x. Right. So we know that if two lines are cut by a transversal, then three things happen. If two parallel lines are cut by a transversal is a line that cuts two parallel lines in any kind of way, in any kind of gradient, then three things happen. If two parallel lines are cut by transversal, one, a pair of corresponding angles are equal. So those angles under the F shape will be equal. Two, a pair of alternate angles are equal. Alternate angles will be angles under the Z shape, under the arms of the Z or the N shape. So those angles, that and that angle, we say they are alternate angles, not alternating, alternate angles. Or three, a pair of co-interior angles. Co-interior angles, remember, are angles that form a U shape. So U in that way. So a pair of co-interior angles, I beg your pardon, they are not equal, but they add up to 180 degrees, or we say a pair of co-interior angles are supplementary. So either those two angles are equal, sorry, those two angles are supplementary, they add up to 180, or those two angles add up to 180. First scenario, pair of corresponding angles equal. Second scenario, a pair of alternate angles equal. Third scenario, a pair of co-interior angles are supplementary, or they add up to 180 degrees. Equal, equal, and supplementary. Radio. In other words, they add up to 180 degrees. Right now, let's have a look at this. We are given 55 degrees there. Clearly, that angle will also be equals to 55 degrees. I would label it on my diagram so that to show the examiner that you know which of these angles will be equals to 55. And then in my working out, I would then say, you realize now that if you consider this straight line here, we know that adjacent angles on a straight line add up to 180 or are supplementary as well. So x plus 71 plus 55 degrees will add up to 180 degrees. Let's put a degree there, right? Then let's do the math. If we do the math, then our x will be equals to 180 degrees minus 71 minus 55 degrees. On your calculator, fingers on the buzzers, let's go. 180 minus 71 minus 55 is equals to, final answer, 54 degrees. Okay, let's go to the next question. Question 6. The price of a computer is $520. The price is reduced by 15% in a sale. Work out the sale price. Right, so the sale price will be equals to the cost price of this computer, which is 520 minus 15 per century, 15% of means times, or 15 per 100 of 520, and put that in your calculator, you get $442, and that's the sale price. Final answer. Question 7. The Venn diagram shows the elements of the sets P and Q. Complete the statement. This means that what elements are in set P? So this is set P here. So the elements that are in set P will be A, B, C, and D is also in set P as well. But as much as it's also in set Q, but it's still part of set P. So we do count it. So it's your final answer will be A, B, C, and D. This small n in question B means the number of elements in P or Q. The number of elements. The small n means how many, in other words, how many elements are in set P and set P or set Q, right? So let's count them. Set P or set Q. P or Q will be A, B, C, E, and F. D is not in set P or Q, but it is in set P and set Q. It's in both of them. So how many are in set P or set Q? There's 5 elements. And that is our final answer. Write down the next term in this sequence, right? Just looking at this, we can realize this is the same as 3 to the power 1, which is 3, 3 to the power 2, 3 to the power 3, 3 to the power of 4. So the next number then should be, in that sequence, the next term should be 3 to the power 5, which is equals to 243. Find the nth term in this sequence. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is to determine what type of sequence this is going to be. Is it a linear sequence, or is it a quadratic sequence, or is it a geometric sequence? To determine that, we'll need to find the differences between each term. So let's start with arithmetic. With arithmetic, we subtract the differences between, we subtract any 2 consecutive terms to find the differences. So 17 take away 13, we get 4. 21 take away 17, we get 4. Don't stop there. Prove the third one as well. 25 minus 21, we get 4. So because the first difference is constant, therefore, this becomes a linear arithmetic sequence. The first difference is constant. So we can conclude that therefore, this is a linear sequence, right? Now, I am going to use, for a linear sequence, I'm going to use the formula Tn is equals to Bn plus C, where B is the common difference. In this case, we found it to be 4 common difference, and C is term 1 minus the common difference. Okay, let's do this. So then, the common difference, substitute in place of B, then the nth term, Tn, is equals to 4n plus C is term 1, which is 13, minus the common difference, which is minus 4, right? And then we get our answer final answer Tn is equals to 4n plus 9. Question 9. Without using a calculator, work out 1 over 3 plus 5 over 6. 1 over 3 plus 5 over 6. This is equals to, it's the same as I'm going to write 3 as the same denominator as 6, meaning in other words, if I multiply the first term by 2 over 2, and the reason why I'm doing that is to change that 3 to become a 6. Multiplying by 2 over 2 is the same as multiplying by 1. So you are not changing the sense of this problem. This will be 2 times 1, which is 2 over 6 plus 5 over 6. We know that if our denominators are the same, then we can just add the numerators. So final answer is 7 over 6. Now, sorry, that's not the final. I'm just reading something here. You must show all your working and give your answers as a mixed number in its simplest form. How many times does 6 go into 7? It goes once. What's the remainder? It's 1 over 6. So this is the final answer. Are they going to penalize you for writing 7 over 6? A big yes. The examiners will penalize you because the instructions clearly state as a mixed number fraction. Question 10. 18x to the power 18 divided by 9x to the power 9. We want to simplify this. When we divide the same bases, we subtract the exponents. First, let's divide our numbers. 18 divided by 9 is 2. And we've got x to the power 18 minus 9. Final answer, 2x to the power 9. Solve simultaneously. Question 11. Right, so we've got two equations. X minus 3y is equals to 7 and 2x minus 3y is equals to 11. From the start, I can see that I have a common term there in both those equations. 3y and 3y are common. And in fact, they're both minus and minus. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the elimination method. Remember, to use the elimination method, we need to have the same coefficient for either x or y. In this case, I've got a 3 and a 3. So I'm going to then use the elimination method by saying, because they are the same sign, I'm going to subtract them. Label this as your equation 1, label that as your equation 2. Now I'm going to say equation 1 minus 2. You can say 2 minus 1. Some people might say, but you've got bigger numbers in 2. That is absolutely fine. 1 minus 2, let's challenge ourselves. X minus 2x, that's going to be minus x. Minus 3y minus 3y, that gives us a 0. That's equals to 7 minus 11. That's going to be a negative 4. Therefore, if I multiply both sides by negatives, I get x is equals to 4. No fuss, no mess there. To find my y value, I am going to substitute x is equals to 4 into equation, doesn't really matter. I'm going to choose equation 1. From equation 1, if I substitute x is equals to 4, I get 4 minus 3y is equals to 7. Take the 4 over to the other side, I get minus 3y is equals to 7 minus 4, which is 3. Dividing both sides by negative 3, I get my y to be equals to negative 1. Question 11. I beg your pardon, question 12. We've just done question 11 now. Right. Question 12. Triangle PQR is similar to triangle ABC with PR divided by AC being 2 over 3. AB is equals to 9 centimeters, that is given there. And the area of triangle ABC is 18 centimeters, I beg your pardon. Find the length of PQ. So if these two triangles are similar, let's establish some equations first. So if we take PQ, the ratio of PQ to the ratio of AB, let me just show you that. So if I take the ratio of PQ to AB, because they are similar, I'm taking those similar sides, taking the ratios, that should be equals to taking the ratio of PR, which is that side, and of course AC, which is that similar side as well. Right. In other words, then, guys, PQ is equals to, I'm going to multiply both sides by AB. PQ is equals to PR over AC multiplied by AB. Now, I can substitute to find my PQ. PR over AC, we are given. There it is. PR over AC is 2 over 3 multiplied by AB, we are given, there it is, it's 9. So we have 2 over 3 multiplied by 9. 3 into 3 goes once, into 9 goes 3 times. 2 times 3 is 6 centimeters. Therefore, final answer PQ is equals to 6 centimeters. Find the area of triangle PQR. Okay, the area of triangle PQR will be, so I'm going to say area of triangle PQR is going to be equals to 2 over 3, which is our ratio there, multiplied by 18. Remember that when we divide, the ratios are similar as well. So if the one triangle's area is 18, the other triangle's area is going to be the ratio times the area of the other triangle, 2 over 3 times the ratio of the other triangle. So the area of the other triangle, sorry. So that's going to be equals to 12 because 3 goes once there, 3 into 18 goes 6 times, 2 times 6 is 12. Right, let's go to the next question. Question 13. The diagram shows the speed time graph of the first 15 seconds of a car journey. Find the acceleration of the car during the first 5 seconds. This is a speed versus time graph. Acceleration is the change in speed divided by the change in time. So A is going to be the final speed is 14 minus the initial speed is 0 divided by the final time, which is 5, initial time, which is 0. So 14 divided by 5, and my acceleration will be 2.5 meters per second squared. Part B of that question. Find the distance traveled during the 15 seconds. The distance traveled, if we have a velocity versus time graph, distance traveled is just simply the area under the graph. Now, if we look at this shape here, that this graph makes, we can see that it is a trapezium or a trapezoid. Okay, this is a trapezium. The area of a trapezium, we know how to calculate that, my guys. Remember, just to remind you, area is equals to, of a trapezium is equals to half multiplied by A plus B multiplied by the perpendicular height. Now, A and B are the parallel sides. So you can take this side as your A, that side as your B, or vice versa. It doesn't matter. And the perpendicular height is simply the vertical distance, or the distance between the perpendicular, sorry, not vertical, the perpendicular distance between the two parallel sides, or the separation between your A and your B. So let's put in some numbers here. So A is this part here, which is equals to, along your x-axis, which is equals to 15. B is this time here, which is from 5 to 15. So B is equals to 10. And the separation between the two parallel sides is equals to 14. Now we can substitute into our equation. So area is equals to half multiplied by 15 plus 10 multiplied by 14. Quick calculations will give you a final answer of area of 175 meters. Question 14. Describe fully the single transformation that maps triangle A into triangle B. Oh, this will be definitely a rotation by 90 degrees. So far you've got yourself rotation by 90 degrees, and you have to specify in which direction, clockwise or counterclockwise. In this case, it's going to be clockwise. And already, guys, you've got yourself 2 marks. Rotation 90 degrees, that's 1 mark. And in a clockwise direction, sorry, not anti-clockwise, not counterclockwise. Rotation by 90 degrees, that's 1 mark. Clockwise direction, that's another mark. Now, to gain the other mark, because this is a 3 marks question, you have to find the center of rotation with center. So we have to find the x and the y value for the rotation, your ordinate and your abscissa value for the rotation. Right. Now then, how do we find that center, which is most of the time a question that's left out, right? This is what you do. Looking at A and B, first thing I would do, very nice and quick way to do this is I would then join corresponding points. So that bottom sharp point there is the same as that point there. So take your pencil and just tap lightly, and you use your ruler as well. Tap lightly and join those, and then that point will definitely be that point. Take the pencil and ruler and join them as well. And lastly, you can do those points, but usually 2 lines are sufficient. Okay, Then the next thing I would do is I would find the center of this line by construction and using your compass. Or you can use your protractor. Find the center of this line, which obviously will be there. Then draw a perpendicular line to the center of that line. So consider that red line. That's one. Second thing is find the center of this line here. Now, this line spans over one, two, three blocks. So, safe to say, one and a half. That would be the center of that line there. So, what I would do, I would draw a 90 degrees or a perpendicular line using my ruler, of course, and I'm doing this really, really roughly, but in my head, I know exactly what I'm doing. So using my ruler, I would join that line. As I said, the two lines are enough to give you an intersection point, which is going to be your center of rotation. In this case, we can see that they intersect at that point there. You can also join that and that, find the center, draw your intersection point. You will find that it's coming from it is a negative sloping line like this. Where they all merge, or where the two lines you've drawn merge, that is your center of rotation. In this case, center of rotation is 4 and 3. Perfect. Right, right. Let's go to the next question. Question 15. The perimeter of a sector of a circle with radius 8 centimeters is 26 centimeters. Calculate the angle of this sector. Right, so going to first draw a circle and I'm going to draw a sector, which is our pita slice there. Now, what we are given is that the perimeter is 26 and the radius or the radii are 8 and 8. So this is our sector, which is our pita slice there. Now, this we know this is our arc length of that sector. We want to determine the angle. Let's call it theta. You can call it phi, beta, alpha, whatever. Let's call it theta to simplify things. The perimeter of this sector then, perimeter is equals to 8 plus 8 plus this arc length here. Arc length. Perimeter is nothing else but the outside covering. But we are given that this is 26. So 26 plus 16 plus the arc length. 26 is equals to 16 plus the arc length. Now, if we take 26 over to the other side, we get that the arc length is equals to 26 take away 16, which is equals to 10. Now, to calculate the arc length, we know that the equation for finding arc length is given as in radians, is given as arc length r times theta, and in this case it's equals to 10. The radius we do have, we are given it's 8 multiplied by theta, and that is equals to 10. So the angle theta is equals to 10 over 8. Now your theta is 1.25, and that is in radians. Now we can change the radians to degrees if we wanted to, or if the answer demands, but this will also fetch you marks. But if we have to change, then what we do is we multiply. If we want to change from radians to degrees, we say then theta is equals to 1.25 multiplied by 180 degrees divided by pi, and that's going to give us 71 point. Just a quick calculation there. Beg your pardon. I'm going to round it off. One decimal place, 71.6 degrees. Question 16. The diagram shows a circle and 8 chords. Calculate the value of u, v, w, and x. Okay. Right, I can see already that u is going to be equals to 20 degrees. The reason for that is that u and 20 degrees are subtended by that arc there. So you can say angles subtended by the same arc in the same segment are equal, or angles subtended by that chord by the same chord are equal. So I'm going to write in my answer for u first as 20 degrees. Okay, so if this is 20 degrees, perfect. This angle and 56 are on a straight line. So this angle there will be equals to 180 minus 56. So this angle is 124 degrees. Now, the next thing I'm going to do, if I add these three angles on on the inside of a triangle, I get 180 degrees. So x will be equals to 180 minus 124 minus 20 degrees. Right, 160 minus 124 gives me 36 degrees. Okay, I'm going to write my x there. Oh, that's my 36 degrees there. Right. Next angle that I need to find. Let's see. Right, we've got that, we've got that. Right. I've got this angle here, which is given as 72 degrees. This arc here subtends that angle, and it also subtends this angle. So I can see that that angle, that 72 degrees subtended by that green arc, will be the same as this angle here. They're both angles subtended by the same arc. So that's going to be a 72. How is that useful? Oh, that is useful because I can then, by vertically opposite angles, write that angle as 56 degrees. Now I've got V, 72, and 56, which will give me the option that angle V is equals to 180 minus 72 degrees minus 56. By similar reasoning to the previous triangle that we were working out, interior angles of a triangle will give you 180 degrees. 180 minus 72 minus 56, and that is equals to 52 degrees. So I get my V equals 52 degrees. Let's write it in there. 52. Right, now I just need to work out W. Right. So to work out W, I can see that if I draw a cyclic quadrilateral, if I draw a cyclic quadrilateral, remember a cyclic quadrilateral is a four-sided figure which has all its vertices on the circumference of the circle. And the theorem of for cyclic quads, we know that opposite angles of a cyclic quad are supplementary. In other words, W plus 72 degrees will be equals to 280 degrees. So W is 180 minus 72 degrees, which gives us 180 minus 70, that's 110 minus 208, 108. So W is equals to 108 degrees. You have to know your theorems for that question. You just have to go through them. Give yourself time, study the theorems, ask your teacher to go through them with you. Practice them with your friends, practice them on your own. That's the only way you are going to get these geometry questions, and they're often very sizable or notable marks. Simplify, right? 3125x to the power 3125, all that multiplied again by 1 over 5. Right, so I am going to use the distributive law of exponents. That exponent there multiplies with the exponent for x, and it also multiplies with the exponent of 3125 to the power 1 over 5 multiplied by x to the power 3125 multiplied by 1 over 5. Now, 3125 is the same as 5 to the power 5 multiplied by 1 over 5 and x to the power. Now, this is the same as 3125 divided by 5. Multiplying by a fraction is the same as dividing by its denominator. So 3125 divided by 5 gives us 625. The 5's cancel out there, and our final answer is 5x to the power 625. Next question. Question 18. Calculate the length of BC. Okay, so we have an angle. We want to find the length opposite that angle. We have this angle. We have that length there, right? So we've got this angle here. Right. So it would help to find that angle there. So the first thing we are going to do is we are going to say angle ACB is equals to 180 degrees minus 115 degrees minus 35 degrees. So that's going to give us 30 degrees. So this angle here is 30 degrees. Then we are going to use the sine rule. If we use the sine rule, we know that the sine of angle 115, or rather, because we want to find the length, I would say BC divided by the sine of the opposite angle to that length that's required, which is 115, is equals to any other two known angle and sides. So starting with the length, of course, 7 divided by the sine of 30 degrees. So BC is then equals to 7 divided by sine 30 degrees, which is 7 divided by half. That's going to be 14 multiplied by the sine of 115 degrees. And our final answer, BC, is 12.7 centimeters. Expand and simplify. So the first thing I'm going to expand is x minus 2. So I'm going to, let's rewrite 2x plus 3 multiplied by x minus 2 times x minus 2. So I've got 2x plus 3 multiplied by, if we expand x minus 2 multiplied by x minus 2, we get x squared minus 4x plus 4. X squared minus 4x plus 4. Now, the next thing we need to do is to expand those. So expanding those, we're going to get 2x cubed minus 8x squared plus 8x plus 3x squared minus 12x plus 3 times 4, which is 12. Adding our like terms, our final answer will be 2x cubed minus 5x squared minus 4x and our constant term plus 12. Factorize completely. We've got 4 terms there. I've got a feeling this is going to be a grouping kind of question. I'm going to leave it as is and just group those two first and group those two. But now, as soon as I put brackets on the last two terms, I have to be careful. There's a minus outside the brackets there, if you can see that. So because of that negative, the term inside the bracket becomes positive. So let me show you again. Let's rewrite this. So 1 plus x I'm going to group on its own. So minus, now inside the bracket, still have a negative because look, negative times positive y will give you that negative y, but this has to be a plus, so that negative times positive will still give you that negative there. So that's going to be plus xy. This happens only when you have a negative. 1 plus x minus common factor, which is y, and 1 plus x in brackets. And lastly, these are also common, so take them out. 1 plus x, and in brackets, if you divide 1 plus x by 1 plus x, you get 1 minus divide y times 1 plus x by 1 plus x, we get y. So final answer is 1 plus x and 1 minus y. Note, you could have grouped 1 and y and taken out your common factor as x and x there, could be, and that would have given you the same answer. Factorize, question 20b, factorize 2x cubed minus 18xy squared. Going to take out a common factor, which is 2x. Inside my brackets, 2x cubed divided by 2x is x squared. 18 divided by 2 is 9. X squared, the x's cancel out, and we've got y squared. This expression inside the bracket is a difference of two squares. I can further factorize this then as a difference of two squares as x minus 3y and x plus 3y. And that is my final answer. 2x times x minus 3y times x plus 3y. Question 21. The graph of a cubic function has two turning points. So in other words, the graph is either like this or it's like that. Okay, so it's got two turning points. Cubic functions, two turning points. When x is less than 0, which means considering this part of the graph now, x is less than 0, and when x is greater than 4, the gradient of the graph is positive. A positive gradient is increasing. So when I put 4 there, and the gradient of the graph is increasing after 4, where x is greater than 4. This tells me something. This tells me that at 4 we have a turning point. And in fact, even at 0 we have a turning point. How do I know that? Because x is greater than 4. It's not greater or equals to, it's only greater than 4. And x is less than 0, not less or equals to. So at 0 and 4, we definitely have a turning point. Now, on the other side of 4, the gradient is increasing. On the other side of 0, the gradient is decreasing. Is increasing, sorry. On the left-hand side of 0, the gradient is positive. On the right-hand side of 4, the gradient is also positive. When x is between 0 and 4, the gradient of the graph is negative. Aha, that concludes our statement there, or that concludes our investigation. So one, the gradient is positive on the left hand side of 0 as shown by that. I believe at 0 we have a stationary point, or we have a turning point. And then between 0 and 4, the gradient becomes negative, so it's sloping down. And but at 4, the gradient is neither positive nor negative, because after 4, the gradient becomes positive again. So I believe that should be our shape. Please do check it, but I believe that should be our shape. The graph passes through the there we go. The graph passes through the origin. Sketch the graph. Done and dusted. This was a very nice one. Right. Question 22. On the diagram, sketch the graph of y is equals to the cosine of x between 0 and 360. Okay, so I know that the graph of cosine, just drawing that from inspection, we know that it starts at 1, it goes down, it goes up, and it comes back up again. In fact, that is our graph. That's the graph they want us to draw. So I'm just going to show my roots. So halfway there, that's 180. So divide the graph into 4 parts, or into 4 quadrants. So that's going to be 90. That's 270 degrees. So the cosine of 0 is 1. The cosine of 90 is 0. Cosine of 180 is negative 1. Cosine 270 is back to 0. And cosine of 360 is 1. Remember that these graphs are sinusoidal. Please do not draw V's. Do not take a ruler and draw a V. These graphs are smooth curves. We say that they are sinusoidal, meaning, in other words, they are curving at every single moment. Every single time the graph is constantly curving. That's what sinusoidal is called. That's what sinusoidal means. So that's the graph of y is equal to the cosine of x between 0 and 360 degrees, and inclusive. Boundaries inclusive. Solve the equation. Cosine of x is equals to minus 1 over 2 for x between 0 and 360 degrees. Right, so let's do this. Excuse me. So x is equals to the inverse cosine of 1 over 2, which means x, then working it out, will be equals to 60 degrees. However, remember that we have a negative there. So I have to ask myself, where is the cosine negative? All students take coffee. Where is the cosine negative? Cosine is positive in the first quadrant and the last quadrant, the fourth quadrant. So first quadrant, cosine is positive. Last quadrant, cosine is positive. So in quadrant 2 and quadrant 3, the cosine is negative. Therefore, my answer is going to come from, I'm going to say, therefore, in quadrant 2, x is equals to 180 degrees minus the reference angle. We found our principal angle, or our reference angle, as 60 degrees. So x is equals to 120 degrees. So one of my x's is 120 degrees. Now this is from 0 to 360. So all 4 quadrants are allowed, except this case where the 2 quadrants are not allowed. So in quadrant 3 also, we have to consider that. In quadrant 3, x is equals to 180 degrees. Now I'm going, remember, when we're going quadrants, we're going in an anti-clockwise direction like that. So in quadrant 3, it's 180 plus 60 degrees, which will give us x is equals to 240 degrees. Next question, question 23. Y is inversely proportional to the square root of x. Y is inversely proportional to the square root of x, and x is directly proportional to w squared. X is directly proportional to w squared. When w is equals to 12, y is equals to 12, right? Before we go there, I have two equations here, right? I have two inequalities, I beg pardon. To make these equations, I need to introduce a constant k. So I'm going to say y is equals to k divided by the square root of x, and likewise x is equals to k multiplied by w squared. Right, now that's my first two equations. So I'm going to label that equation 1. I'm going to label this equation 2. Now I'm going to take equation 2 and substitute it into my first equation. Substitute equation 2 into equation 1 gives me y is equals to k divided by the square root of x, and x is k w squared. Okay, I could always solve this, but I'm going to not complicate it at all. Now, what I'm going to do then is consider what I'm given there. W is equals to 12 and y is equals to 12. So I want to find what is that constant k. So now substitute w, which is equals to 12, and y, which is also equals to 12. That will give us 12 is equals to k divided by the square root of k times 12 squared. Right, so I've got 12 is equals to k divided by root k times 12. The square root of 144 is 12. Multiply both sides by 12. I get 144 is equals to k divided by the square root of k. Right. Now, I want to remove this square root here. I'm going to do a very neat trick. Watch this. I'm going to square both sides of the equation. I'm going to square both that side as well because I want to remove that k. If I square both sides, the square of 144 is 20,736. So I have 20,736 is equals to k squared divided by k, because remember the square root and the square cancel out, and therefore k squared divided by k just gives me k is equals to 20736. Right, now I need to find the value of y. They said, what is y? Okay, find y in terms of w. Right, now y, let's go back up there. Y, if you remember what we had there, find y in terms of w. So y is equals to, we found the value of k, which is 20736, all this divided by the square root of k, which is 20736 w squared, or y is equals to 20736 divided by the square root of 20736 is 144, 144, and the square root of w squared is just w. And then we've got 20736 divided by 144 is 144. So we've got 144 at the top divided by w. So the value of y in terms of k is y is equals to 144 divided by W, and that is my final answer for that question. Question 24. Violet and Wilfred recorded their times to run 200 meters correct to the nearest second. Violet took 36 seconds and Wilfred took 39 seconds. Work out the upper bounds of the difference between their times. What is the difference? 39 minus 36 is equals to 3. So what is work out the upper bounds of their time. So, which means then, let's see, what is the upper bound? 3 is 3 is greater or equals to 2.5. 2.5 can round off to 3, but at the same time 3 must be less than 3 point, if we say 3.5, then this rounds off to 4, so that's going to be 3.4. So the upper bound is going to be 3.4. Question 25. A bag contains 5 red balls, 4 blue balls, and 3 green balls. Megan picks a ball at random. Write down the probability that the ball is red or blue. Right, so we have a total of 12 balls all in all. Total is equals to 12. So the probability that the ball is red or blue will be 5 out of 12 plus 4 out of 12. Because of the or means we add those two. So that's going to be 9 out of 12. Megan replaces the ball. She picks a ball at random, notes the color, and replaces the ball. She repeats this 60 times. Calculate the number of times the ball is expected to be red or blue. We can write this 9 over 12 in simpler form. In its simplest form, it's equivalent to 3 over 4. Now, she does this 60 times, so our answer is going to be 60 multiplied by 3 over 4, and that's going to be equals to 45. Question 25, Part B. Mick picks 2 of the 12 balls at random without replacement. Calculate the probability that the balls are different colors. Now we'll need a bigger space. Mick picks 2 of the 12 balls without replacement. So, picking 2 of the 12 balls, remember, of the 12 balls without replacement. Remember, the first time he can pick a red ball, and the probability for picking a red ball first time is 5 out of 12. And if he does the second pick, he can pick a red ball again without replacing it. So now there are 4 chances out of 11 of picking the red ball again. Or Mick can pick a blue ball, and there are 4 blue balls out of 12 if he picks it out for the first time, and likewise another blue ball there. That's going to be 3 out of 11. Or Mick can pick a green ball. Now the probability of picking green, the probability, how many greens do we have? 3, I think it was. Yes, so green is 3 out of 12. And if he picks another green again, his chances of picking green again are 2 out of 12. Right, now let's go back up. He picks a red ball and another red ball both times, or he can pick a red ball and a blue ball. So the probability of him picking a blue ball is 4 out of 11, or he can pick a green ball. The probability of picking a green ball is 3 out of 11. Likewise, he picked a blue and a blue. What if he picked a blue and a red ball? So if he picks a red ball, probability of picking red is still 5 because there's still 5 red balls after he's picked that blue out of 11, or he can pick a green ball, and that green ball's probability will be 3 out of 11 still. Same thing with the last picks there. So we only have green, which is 2 out of 12. I'm sorry, out of 11, I beg your pardon, because now one ball has been picked and he does not replace. Sorry for that. That was a silly mistake on my part. So it's 2 out of 11, and probability of picking a blue ball is 4 out of 11, and the probability of picking a red ball is 5 out of 11 if he has picked a green ball first. The question is calculate the probability that the balls are different colors. Right now, let's see which ones are the different colors. Red and blue, or red and green. Let's calculate those. So the red and blue first, that's going to be 5 out of 12 times 4 out of 11. Okay. Or if he picks red and green, that's 5 out of 12 multiplied by 3 out of 11. Right. That's from the first 2 picks if he picked a red ball first. Or he can pick a blue ball first. So if he picks blue, then we need the calculation of red and green. So blue ball first was 4 out of 12 multiplied by red, which is now 5 out of 11. Or alternatively, it's 4 out of 12. If he picks a green ball, that's going to be 3 out of 11. Right. Then, if it happens that he picked a green ball first, which is 3 out of 12, and we are not looking for green there, we're just looking for then different color, which is blue, multiplied by 5 out of 11, or 3 out of 12 multiplied by the blue color, which is 4 out of 11. Right, now you have to work out all of those ratios there, and once worked out, we then need to add all the outcomes for picking out the different balls. Once worked out, we then add all the outcomes. So for the first one, we're going to have 20 out of 132. Second one's going to be 15 out of 132. 20 again out of 132. 12, 4 times 3, 12 out of 132. 15 again out of 132, and the last one should be 12. 3 times 4 out of 132, right? Something is not happening there. It's 4 out of 11. 4 out of 11. Okay, that should be 4 out of 11. That was green there, which is 2 out of 11. Right. And then after we have multiplied and got those results, we then have to add them all up. And our final answer is 47 out of 66 times he will pick. Okay, we've come to the last question. Mari picks balls at random without replacement from the 12 balls. When she picks a green ball, she stops. The probability that she picks a green ball on pick N is 21 over 220. Find the value of N. Okay, here are the probabilities. Here are the chances. So first, she can pick 9 over 12. The probability of picking a second time is 8 over 11. The probability of picking a third time is 7 over 10 multiplied by 6 over 9. And of course, the probability of picking a green ball is 3 out of 8. Now, all these picks here, these picks, if you think about it, these probabilities are not green, and this is the probability of picking the green. If we then multiply all of those numbers using our calculator, we get 21 over 220. Interestingly enough, guys, that value there is that there. Okay, if you multiply all of those up, you'll get 21 over 220. So what is N? How many times does she have to pick and the balls until the probability is 21 over 20? So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So N, possible N is 5. Thank you so much, everybody, for staying with me throughout this video. Please contact me. I'm going to put my contact details on the description, and for any tutoring services as well. Thank you so much. God bless.